Ha! All right. So see, that time I knew the sound was off and I intentionally had it off. That way I didn't hear my music playing. There you go. I was listening to some, let's see what I have on. I had some Sex Pistols. I had some John Denver. I had some Beatles. Some In Excess. And a couple other things. That was actually the Beach Boys. So, how's everybody doing today? Sunday, good Sunday. It was a beautiful Sunday. What a day, right? You know, I mean, it was all the things that you want in a Sunday. It was sunny, it was beautiful, and there was Italian festival church pizza. Woo! Super excited. I got my Italian festival church pizza, and there it is. Look at that, baby. Yes. Now, come on. Tell me that is not what pizza should look like. That is pizza right there. That is the delicious church pizza. Half pepperoni, half not pepperoni. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love that, right? So I got my church pizza. It made my day. I was happy. Happy. It was so good. It was delicious. I ate lots of it. And then later on, I needed a nap. But yeah, so the Italian festival was the MC today. I saw some people there. It was wonderful to see some smiley faces and remind me how much you missed the radio station. That doesn't hurt my soul at all, I promise. Look, this was me. Look right there. It says Master of Ceremonies. Look at that. Woo, Master of Ceremonies. Right next to my Ferrari. Well, it wasn't my Ferrari per se. It was the Ferrari that I got to be the seated in. So look, there you go. See, look, seated in the Ferrari. So now I am no longer the guy in the van. I am the guy in the Ferrari. My driver was Danny. He was very nice. His Ferrari was from 2002. His dad bought it, and his dad's gone now, but he inherited it from his dad. He was a very nice guy. We talked for a while. He stores in a facility, keeps it very clean. He did say he got it over the legal speed limit double. Once I said 60 or 70. He goes, not the 71. I said, okay. So you kept it under 140. Yeah, well, okay. All right. We did not, unfortunately, get to go that fast. We barely got to go past a parade pace. So, that's like, and the car didn't like that. It literally was like, and then it would drop out of gear intentionally. Like it would be like, all right, screw you. You're not going to do it. So you'd have to like literally put it back into gear because it was like, no. I'm not good at this. I don't want to idle and I don't want to roll. I want to go. So that was kind of funny. But yes, there you go. I got my church pizza today. It was a lovely day. I got to hang out with some friends and I saw lots of people I knew and it was just, it was fabulous. So hopefully you got a chance to get out today and enjoy some beautiful sunshine and some lovely weather and maybe even some church pizza like me. But I was very happy to get my church pizza. That made my day. So besides that, I came home in the afternoon, sat on the couch for a few minutes, and then I went and did some work. And I was way sleepy doing the work. I definitely was just not in the mood to do it. But I got some more tiling done, trying to get this bathroom wrapped up. So I got some tiling done, and then I came home and I had more church pizza because why not? And now I'm here, ready for all sorts of musical knowledge and information that I will share with you on episode 134 on October the 12th, 2025. I know she doesn't watch, but by tomorrow's standards, it'll be my sister's birthday. So happy birthday to my sister. Even though I know she won't watch. She's like, no, I don't do that. That happens. That's all right. I think she was born on Friday the 13th originally, so born under a black cloud, that girl. Anyway, all right, remember, no particular order any of this occurs in. It goes from here to here to here and back and forth, just where I find it. So If you don't like that, sorry, I apologize now for the mayhem that is the musical knowledge that I will enlighten you with. We're going to start off in 1944 with the Columbus Day Riot. Yes, apparently there was a Columbus Day Riot back in 1944 to go see the 28-year-old crooner from Hoboken, New Jersey, Mr. Frank Sinatra. So screaming fans went to go see Mr. Frank Sinatra. They went to go to New York City's Times Square. I guess they went to the performance at the Paramount Theater. They found about this. He had played there before, and there was a big push. It was all these, they said, bobby sock and bow tie screaming girls, and the theater's capacity was 3,500. 30,000 showed up for this performance, and basically created a riot in Times Square. 30,000 people to see Frank Sinatra in a 3,000 person theater. They then booked shows like one after another. Sometimes he did 6 performances a day. At one point, apparently he did 11 shows in one day. I'm like, wow, that's a lot if you think about that. Like, how long is a performance? Is it 90 minutes or is it an hour? If it's an hour, that's 11 hours of shows. I mean, that's a good chunk, kids. I mean, you'd have to start at like 9 in the morning, go to 9 at night, or yeah, you do the math. I mean, I don't know how long a set was, but still, even if it was 45 minutes and you're pretty much doing back to back, how do you get people in and out of a theater that holds 3,500 people in 15 minutes and turn it over? And that's pretty wild. But yes, the riot of Columbus Day. Nothing to do with Columbus himself. It just happened to be on the day. So there was no Native Americans killed in this one. 1971, Jesus Christ! Superstar. Opened on Broadway. It ran for 711 shows. I just threw that in there because it just fits so well, because it was just right there. Yeah, I know. I'm punchy. I'm tired. I got up early. It was a long day. I had lots of pizza, and I'm just punchy. It's been a long life. Hope everyone's doing good today. Hope everyone had a lovely day. I did have a great day. So I'm just hoping everyone's had a really good day. The bands were incredible today. The marching bands, the high school marching bands, some of them got up there and there were, 15 or so kids. A couple of them got up there and they filled the stage and the floor. And there was drum lines and percussion and, brass and woodwinds. And I was like, wow, these are some serious bands. These were not, these are like TV marching bands, not your, typical, like I said, not my typical high school band, me playing clarinet, where, no, these were, all in uniform, dressed to kill, highly organized, band director, it was good stuff. So, and they had a huge crowd. I mean, I would say there was probably, I would conservatively say there was at least 500 plus people there to see the bands. I'm sure it was a lot of, parents and friends, but it was packed. The tent was packed and the crowd was very raucous. When I introduced certain bands, there was a lot of cheering and a lot of fanfare. So, yes, I hope people had a good day today. The Lady Sings the Blues film, 1972, is basically, loosely based on the life and times of Billie Holiday. Sorry, punchy, like I said. Billie Holiday. It's live and it's not AI because I'm just going to screw up left and right tonight, apparently. 1972 movie based on Billie Holiday, singer Billie Holiday's life. Woo! It starred Diana Ross and Billy D. Williams. Lando Calrissian. In 1978, lead singer of the time, the Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious, is charged with the murder of his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen. They were living in a Chelsea hotel in New York City at the time, and Vicious called the police to report that his girlfriend had been injured. When they arrived, they found Nancy stabbed with a single stab wound to her abdomen, dead. Vicious was arrested and charged with her murder, but he never stood trial. Sid Vicious died of a heroin overdose in February of 1979, so just a few months after now. He was charged with a murder, but there's a lot of speculation that she was actually murdered by a drug dealer that frequented their Chelsea flat and was seen in the area near the time of the murder. We'll never know. But she also falls on the category of died today. Nancy Spungen, girlfriend of Sid Vicious. 1988, the band Blood, Sweat, and Tears, while performing at a street fair in Los Angeles, California, had a melee breakout in the crowd. The street fair, this ensuing melee wound up getting 7 people stabbed and caused quite a commotion in the crowd. The ensuing commotion stopped the show and I guess called police into action. Couldn't find a ton on it, but I was like, all right, that's not so great. Playing a street fair. It didn't say where, but I'm wondering probably was where exactly it was. I looked through the list of band members of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and it was nuts. It was like, I was like, wow. I mean, it was probably 50 different band members. So talk about, Led Zeppelin when they lost John Bonham said, we're not playing anymore. Blood, Sweat, and Tears apparently had a rotating Rolodex of members that they just keep throwing them in. Just keep going. You're out, you're in. You're out, you're in. We'll just keep playing. You know how to play that song? Good. You're in the band. Pretty impressive for a band to just take on that role. 1987, George Harrison releases his 5th single that becomes his 3rd solo #1 hit. Got My Mind Set on You. It is the last chart topper ever for the former Beatle, Mr. George Harrison, on this day, October the 12th, 1987. Oh, I forgot to turn the heater off. Crap. Well, it wasn't too cold today, so hopefully it won't go off. If you've heard, there's a very loud noise that'll happen in the background if I don't turn the heater off. I told you I was going to do it. Look, I even wrote it down. I just forgot to do it. Because my house has steam heat. So I've got a big boiler that's behind me over here that makes all sort of ghostly, hissing, clunking, banging noises at night. So if you're not used to it, it freaks you out. Even now, it's just like I hear like banging noises. Like, what is that? Oh, it's the radiator because it's making like these clunky noises. But the water recirculates when the steam condenses. It recirculates back down to here in the basement. And there's like a big steel box right at my feet practically with a big motor that pumps it back into the boiler. So it's this very loud whirring noise. So if it happens tonight, you'll know what it is. I'll stop and I'll restart again. But hey, that's what happens. These home studios, quality home studio action. 1989. The Victorian Palace Theatre in London's West End opens the jukebox musical Buddy, the Buddy Holly story. I could not find anything else about that. I looked a little bit, but I was like, well, okay. Yeah, I was like, well, did it last? No, I didn't find a lot of info. So that's all you get on that one. What the heck? Now, see, that's weird. Now, it shouldn't have done that. Now, okay, that's totally my bad. I'm not sure how that one happened. Now, see, that's supposed to be, so the camera's supposed to last for 20 minutes minimum, and I'm pretty good at not catching it, but that was only 14 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'm not sure. I must have started it 6 minutes early. I don't remember doing that, but it's very likely that I did, and just, again, wasn't paying attention because brain dead. 1996 Farm Aid. 2023, Taylor Swift. All right, in 1955, the Chrysler Car Company launched a high-fidelity record player in their 1956 lineup of cars. I did have to look at pictures of this thing. I was like, okay, interesting. I mean, it was an actual record player in the car, built into it. Like, this is the luxury high fidelity Chrysler Impala of 1956. The unit was about 4 inches high and less than a foot. So it was this little tiny thing. Now, it took a 7-inch disc and was mounted underneath the instrument panel. So you can imagine, like your dashboard, it was like down underneath it. And it took a 7-inch disc. So, you're talking like the size of like a 45. Now, the thing is, though, the 7-inch disc only spun at 16 2/3 RPM. Okay. Normal LPs are 33 RPM, 45s are 45 RPM. So this thing's spinning really slowly at 16 2/3 RPM. They said it required 3 times the amount of grooves per inch that a 33 LP needed. So that's a lot of little scratches in between. And they said the players were discontinued in 1961. Where would you get, I'm wondering, the music for it? So that's what I was trying to really find. I was digging to find, okay, where did they, what music was put out on that? If you could only use that little weird disc that had this really odd speed. And why did it have that odd speed is what I'm wondering. I can only imagine that if you think about it, it was probably something to do with it driving and having bumps. Because if it was at a slower RPM, that it would have more ability to absorb mistakes. If it had more information packed onto the disk in a shorter period, it would have more ability, for error if it was bouncing, with hitting bumps or whatever. Because I can't imagine the, 1956 Chevy whatever was smooth. I mean, they were boaty cars, but still, I can't imagine it was like super smooth that you could have vinyl working in a car. Anyway, that's all I found in that one. 1957, Little Richard, during a concert in Australia, denounced rock and roll. Publicly denounced it. I'm done with rock and roll, he said. It's over. No more rock and roll. Based this on a dream he had with basically saying that he's going to embrace God Almighty. He recalled a dream, and it was a story of God and Little Richard's own damnation, because he made a promise that he would follow God's teachings after a plane that he was flying in caught fire. One of the engines caught on fire. It landed safely, but he basically denounced rock and roll and took up God. It's reported that he took off 4 of his diamond rings and threw them into the Sydney Hunter River. Estimated at, and this is 1957 prices, that the 4 diamond rings were estimated at a value of $10,000 back then. So those are some pretty big diamonds if you think about the value of diamonds compared to there today. These are probably $100,000 of diamonds that he just took up and threw into the river. He then began a gospel career. Little Richard, the gospel guy. Well, that didn't take. Apparently, God did not take so well with Little Richard, and less than 5 years later, he undenounced rock and roll and went right back to his sinful ways and rock and roll. So, Little Richard, his short stint as a gospel guy from 1957 to 1963. Good golly, Miss Molly. 1965, the Beatles began recording their 6th UK album, Rubber Soul. It recorded new songs, Run for Your Life and Norwegian Wood. I did listen to that earlier, too. That's a good song. 1968, Big Brother and the holding company, Janis Joplin, went to number 1 in the U.S. charts with their number 1 chart hit, Cheap Thrills. So the cover was drawn apparently by the underground artist and cartoonist Robert Crumb. It replaced the original artwork that was going to be the band laying naked in bed together. Crumb's original artwork was supposed to be on the back cover. So if you Google, you'll see what I'm talking about. It was intended to originally be the back cover, but Janis Joplin insisted that they dump the front cover and use Crumb's artwork as the front cover. Begrudgingly, Columbia Records, the record company at the time, agreed to it. She also wanted to change the name to Sex, Dope, and Cheap Thrills, but Columbia Records was having none of that. And they held firm, and the record was released just as Cheap Thrills. I listened to that a little bit too. She had quite the pipes. Janis Joplin was quite the musician. Definitely an interesting one. All right, who's calling me? Someone's texting me. See, if I get text this late at night, I know it's because I'm screwing something up. 1969, today, October 12th, in musical news, was the day the DJ in Detroit at WKNR radio station got a phone call, supposedly got a phone call, that basically told him that if you listen to the Beatles' Strawberry Fields, and you listen to it backwards, and also at the end, you can hear John Lennon say, "I buried Paul." This then started the worldwide rumor and fervor that Paul McCartney was in fact dead. We've talked about this a couple of times. The whole, cover of Abbey Road. Oh, there it is. My bad. I forgot to turn it off. I'm going to have to make a little post-it note and put it upstairs. There's a little switch I can turn off that'll make it stop doing that. Because, yes, it'll be quite annoying. Because once it gets wintry and cold, it'll be really snuggly down here because the furnace is down here. But it gets really noisy because it goes off constantly because all the steam is recirculating. So, sorry. I have to remember that. So I've had 2 errors tonight. Both the camera and the noisy motor. Let's see if I can keep it to 2 and not knock my water bottle over or something else in that genre. Sundays. You see, we always joke about Sundays if you think about it. They always put the skeleton crew on Sunday nights, so you always see the bad edits on TV shows, or if you watch the news, it cuts the commercial, it's the wrong commercial or something. It's the Sunday crew. Well, what can I tell you? You get what you pay for here. 1974, the band The Bay City Rollers were number 1 in the UK album chart with their debut album, Rollin'. The album included 3 British chart hits. Remember, Sha Allah, which was the summertime sensation or summer love sensation, and the debut of Saturday Night. It was never a hit in the UK, but it was a smash hit, number 1 single in the United States. So if you've ever heard it, Saturday, night. That's the Bay City Rollers, which you've probably heard. And I talked about that was something that we used to go roller skating to when I was a kid at the elementary school gymnasium, because that's what you did when you were born in, growing up in New Jersey. You went roller skating on Friday nights or Saturday nights with the other kids in a gymnasium because, we hadn't the internet yet and there wasn't other things to keep us occupied. So we did things with other humans, socialization, that kind of stuff. 1974, Deborah Harry appeared at CBGB's in New York City for the very first time under the name of Blondie. Harry recalls and said that the name was derived from a construction worker who made a comment and catcalled at the singer. As she drove by, the truck driver said, "Hey, Blondie." The rest is history. I mean, why not, right? You know, you might as well take something positive out of that. So she, in fact, used that catcall to create her name and became Blondie. 1975, Rod Stewart and the Faces, I guess that was the band that he was with in 1975, made their final live appearance at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York. Nassau Coliseum is a good place to see a venue show. The group produced 4 studio LPs, 1970 First Step, 1971 Lions Player, also 1971, which I love this title, is the best thing ever. A nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. Which, yeah, it is, I guess, right? A nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. I guess that would also work for a person. But yes, I was like, that's really an album cover title. I was like, I love that so much. Whoever came with that one, golf clap. Bravo. Bravo. 1973, Ooh La La. I didn't care about any of that. Just the title of that, just to be quirky and funny, I thought was brilliant. 1979, Fleetwood Mac released their 12th LP, Tusk. It was a set of experimental music, and it cost the band over $1 million to produce, making it one of the most expensive records ever recorded at the time. The double album it peaked at number 4 in the United States, and it sold over 2 million copies. It spawned 2 top 10 singles, Sarah and the title, Tusk. It reached number 1 in the UK, and it reached platinum status, meaning it sold over 1 million copies. Tusk. 1985, Mr. Ricky Wilson of the B-52s died of complications from AIDS. He was with the band for the number 2 UK and number 3 USA hit, Love Shack. So yes, Mr. Ricky Wilson passed on this day in 1985. Also in 1985, Jennifer Rush was number 1 on the UK singles chart with The Power of Love. It stayed there for 5 weeks and was the biggest selling single of the year. It also became the biggest single ever for a woman in the UK. 1993, Celine Dion reprised that song and also went to number 1 in the US charts. So I don't know how often you get a song that goes from number 1 from one artist and then is covered and goes to number 1 again decades later, 85 to 93. Well, I guess that's not really a decade, is it? Under a decade. I mean, it's only 8 years. So memories are short. 1987, In Excess released Kick, which is the band's most successful album. It was certified 6 times platinum and peaked at number 3 in the US and number 1 in Australia. Duh, it was an Australian band. It also had 4 top 10 chart singles: New Sensation, Never Tear Us Apart, Devil Inside, and Need You Tonight. Now, that reached number 1 on the US charts, and it has sold over 20 million copies worldwide. That last song. I liked the Excess. I threw them on a little bit tonight. I was like, yeah, Excess, good band. Mr. Michael Hutchinson, who died of strangulation. We'll leave it at that, since there's lots of debate whether it was autoerotic asphyxiation or if he just, in fact, killed himself because, you always are found naked in a hotel hanging yourself. Just saying. 1994, Pink Floyd. This one I just was like, really? In 1994, Pink Floyd played the first of a 15-night tour at Earl's Court in London, England. Less than 60 seconds into this song, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, a scaffolding that had 1,200 fans on it collapsed, throwing hundreds of fans more than 20 feet to the ground. Now, 96 of them were seriously injured. 36 required hospitalization. The band sent free T-shirts to all 1,200 people and a letter of apology. See, once it starts, it just keeps going. I was like, okay, all the things that are wrong with this 1994, okay? One, first of all, you sent T-shirts to 1,200 people that got injured, so you also admitted liability. So you're going to get sued by somebody, I imagine. Nowadays, you would. I can't imagine that was not a thing. That was only, a couple decades ago. But yes, so they sent T-shirts. I want more than a T-shirt if I got flung to the ground and injured at a show. But yes, apparently they sent T-shirts and a letter of apology, which I was like, all right. There's just so much wrong with that. I mean, I'm glad they did. That's nice of them that they did that. But I was kind of like, okay, well, that's kind of wild if you think about it. Anyway, all right. I read it at times, so it's something Rolling Stones, 1996, blah, 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 and I stopped. Because I was like, oh, it's getting late. I need to get downstairs and turn on lights and cameras and computers and everything else that goes along with doing this. Born on this day, Sam Moore of Sam and Dave. I'm the soul man. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. Hugh Jackman, the Australian. He was in music news. I didn't even look at actors. Just, I guess he sings as well, like Michael Hutchinson or what's his name from Starsky and Hutch. David Soul. That was it. David Soul. Please, I don't know if I want Hugh Jackman to be singing. Also born on this day, Pat Denizio of the band The Smithereens. Oh, we loved Pat. He died in 2017. The Smithereens came by the station a lot. They hung out a lot with us, and we actually spent a lot of time with the Smithereens. More than just one of those bands that kind of came in and left. That was a go out to dinner and hang out with the band, and go out after the show, band. Kind of on the station when they're just not even, if they were coming through, like if they were going from Cincinnati to Cleveland, they would stop when they were in Columbus, band. So yes, Smithereens, good guys, and a really good band, like the Smithereens songs. Only Memory. I'm going to play that right when I'm done. Also born on this day, which is fitting because it is Columbus Day tomorrow and the Italian festival, Luciano Pavarotti, the tenor, one of the four tenors, and the opera singer, Luciano Pavarotti. I think I said that correct. Luciano Pavarotti. Pavarotti. Whoa. Man. Like I said, I need to go just nap. Not once. I stayed up way too late last night on the couch watching TV. I don't think I hit the bed. I fall into these, these binging of these TV shows. I'm like, oh, just one more episode. Next thing I know, it's 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, oh crap, I got to be up in 5 hours. And that's exactly what happened last night. I was up till like 3:00 in the morning and realized I'm like, oh crap, I got to be up in 5 hours. And 8:00 came really early this morning. So here I am. The only person of any notoriety or nobility or note that I found that died today was Mr. John Denver. He died in 1997. I believe he died in a plane crash. I think so. I didn't look why he died. I just saw that he did. But yes, West Virginia, Rocky Mountain High, all that good stuff. Good old John Denver. So, um, so yeah, so that's kind of tomorrow's Columbus Day. So I think that's I mean, we're in Columbus, Ohio, so it's our day. I don't know. I mean, do we celebrate Columbus Day, or is it Indigenous People Day, or did we change that back, or I don't even know. Well, I can't keep track anymore. You know, we're just so far out there. So anyway, I think it's a something holiday tomorrow. I don't know, state, federal, local. I don't know. So it may not be garbage day tomorrow. So that means garbage days will get bumped to Wednesday. So if I screw up the days, it's only because the garbage cans aren't on the right day. The green won't be out on Tuesday. It'll be out on Wednesday. So I'll be all screwed up going, wait, what day is this? The garbage can was today. How come it's... That's what happened. So I don't know if it's a holiday tomorrow or not. If it is, have a great day off. That's awesome. I will not, in fact, have the day off. I have to go deal with the auctioneers again. So that's a thing. So I think I'll have the URL this week for where the stuff is going to go up. I have not seen the list myself yet, so I have no idea. Like I said, there's 3 of them, and they've just been like going through everything. I don't even know what there is, to be honest. There's so much crap, just all old equipment and just things. So I don't even know. I'm sorry. I can't keep track of my own life anymore, let alone somebody else's. And that's what it's come to. Anyway, so Sunday night, have a great rest of your evening. Have a really great Monday. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. But I don't think it's supposed to be rainy. And if it's a holiday, that's great. That means traffic will be less and there won't be people in line at places because you'll be doing things related to sleeping in and everything else. So that's awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. This is my life now, friends. So hang out, hold on, and let's enjoy the ride as I'm trying to figure out what's next. Thank you for your patronage. Have a lovely rest of your night, and I'll look for you tomorrow. We'll do this exactly the same, but completely different. Fade to black. End.